Hi friends, Tracy.bish here, Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Australia. Welcome so much to my channel. I'm taking part in the Monochromatic Instagram hop again this week, and the colour is Tahitian Tide, which is one of those ones that are leaving us really soon. I'm using the Thoughtful Expressions dies with the Everyday Details stamp set. Now there is a Everyday Details dies as well, which are nesting, but I really wanted to use this beautiful one that you'll see me using later on. So I've got basic white thick card base. I've also got a little bit of Tahitian Tide card. Now you'll have to excuse the February host code in the background. Just ignore it. That one's over. I actually filmed this last week. The last week in February, and I forgot to take it off before I started hitting record, so all good, doesn't really matter. So these are really great nesting dies. We've got two different sizes. One is more of a like a tag, and one is this gorgeous, I don't even know how to describe it, but I really love how pretty it is, so we've gone with that one. So I've got the third largest and second largest in those dies. So I'm just going to cut one with Tahitian Tide, one with basic white thick, and we'll get going from there. So each week is a different colour scheme or different colour that with part of the Monochromatic Instagram hop. So I really hope that you've been enjoying each card that I've been putting out each week. I'm really going to try and keep up with this. Having 3 videos out a week is crazy. I'm a busy person. I have my own business, which I work full time. And I have a part-time job as well, and then I'm trying to keep this Stampin' Up! Business alive as well, so which to me I think is a full-time job in itself. But while I can keep going, I will try, and we'll just see how well we go. So I'm using that nesting of the nest of eggs stamp set, and I'm just using Memento Tuxedo Black to stamp that image onto the basic white thick. Now, I don't get this as scented as I would prefer, but the funny thing is, I actually made this card previously, and I thought I hit record, but obviously I didn't, or it didn't work, or something like that. But anyway, I finished the card, looked up, and it wasn't recording. So I do have another card that's a little bit more scented, a little bit better. But anyway, you know, it's still fine. It still looks good. I've also got some vellum here, and I'm doing a really cool technique. So with the Tahitian Tide stamping blends, which are alcohol-based markers, I'm just going to draw, you know, a bit of colour pattern in the background of the vellum. And then I'm using both light and dark, so we're getting those mixture of colours. And then I'm going to use some alcohol. Now, there is a couple of different alcohol-based products out there that you can get. The one I'm using is actually from Bunnings, so if you live in Australia and you're looking for this one, it's at Bunnings. You can also get another one that's not as high of alcohol in at the chemist or Woolworths and Coles. So, but this Diggers brand is the one you'll need for this technique, and it is a spray bottle, but it's not a fine mist spray. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the spray part out and then just flick a little bit. So I've got some larger dots as well as really small flicks in there as well, and this creates such a cool effect. I think I love this. It's so fun. I'm going to let that dry. Now it is alcohol, so it will not take very long at all, but it'll give us that little bit of time to colour in our eggs and nest. So I'm using my dark Tahitian Tide blend for where the areas are of shadow, and then we're going to come in with the light and just colour in and blend those two colours together. I'm also going to use my dark for all my little leaves in the background. There's a few there. Again, I didn't have that quite as scented as I'd like, so if it was a bit more scented, you'd see a bit more of those leaves. And then with the light, we're just going to come in and just flick across the nest. I don't want to fully colour it in, I just want to add a little bit of extra colour. Now with my sample, my first card that it didn't record, I've gone over my eggs with a wink of Stella. It looks so good. With this one, I press and a whole globule comes out of the wink of Stella. not the finest moment, and it also changes the way the eggs look, but it's fine. So I'm just going to layer the two together. These nest together perfectly, so I'm just going to use some liquid glue. This blue reminds me of my school blue when I went to school, which is crazy. But it's a very light blue. So we're going to layer our piece down over the top of our vellum, and vellum, you can see any adhesive that you use on vellum, it'll go through the vellum. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop up with dimensionals my little label die cuts here, and then when I turn that vellum over, that is where I'm going to put my adhesive. So although this card is only stuck on in a small part of the vellum, it will hold it down just nicely. Do you know what I mean? There is a technique that you can use with your liquid glue, a sponge piece, and just sponging a little bit of the liquid glue on. That one works really well as long as you don't use too much glue, because it will show through. But for today, I think this holds it down quite well, so I'm not too worried about that. And then I'm going to use my mini glue dots to stick in that area where the die cut is. And I chose to use quite a few. You can, use as many or as little as you like. I do sell my cards, so I like to make sure that nothing's going to fall apart. My cards could sit on my rack for, 2 months, could sit on there for 8 months, and I want to make sure that no matter how long it sits on my rack, that when my card is sold and they send it through the mail, it's not going to fall apart. So, but if you're giving this card out tomorrow and you're making it today, maybe you could get away with a lot less. Completely up to you. And then we can stick that down to our card base. To finish this off, I decided to grab out that Tahitian tied metallic ribbon. This is a really pretty ribbon. It comes in all 5 of the ink colours. I'm going to tie a nice little bow and attach it to the nest there, and that just sort of lifts up a little bit of the card. Like I said, we are going to use the Wink of Stella as well, and I have used the 2022-2024 in colour pearls, which come in all 5 of the in colours as well. I've been using those the last 2 weeks of the monochromatic cards, and they're really pretty. I've only just gotten them. I don't know why I didn't have them before, because they are absolutely gorgeous. So for our little ribbon bow, I am going to stick that down with a mini glue dot. It's the easiest way to adhere your ribbons and trims. And yeah, so there are tons of inspiration using the monochromatic theme this week for Tahitian tied, so I really hope that you'll check those out. If you head over to my Instagram page at tracy.bish, you can see all the links there, so you can go and check out everyone's wonderful creations. As you can see, I squeezed my pen and a whole globule come out, so it's very shiny, but it sort of takes away a bit of that blue as well. Yeah, so I'd love it if you checked out everyone else's Tahitian tied cards. That would be wonderful. If you have enjoyed today's video, please give me a thumbs up. I would love it if you left me a comment, and if you haven't hit subscribe, you could do that as well. If you're in need of any of the supplies that I've used on today's card, you can certainly purchase them in my online store. I have a really wonderful customer appreciation gifts that I send out each month, so know that if you're shopping with me, you're going to get some good gifts as well. Yeah, and here we have it. Super cute card, nice interesting technique, and a great background. Alright everyone, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you all really soon. Bye bye.